YouTube family, how are you doing? Welcome to the Gear Cave. Let's go check out some gear. So welcome once again to the Gear Cave. Good to see you guys. So today, thanks to a good friend of mine, you and I get to check out PRS Vela S2. Never heard of them, never even seen one until my friend said, hey, take this home, try it out, do video if you want. She doesn't want any work done. She said she likes it just as is. It was set up at the music store before she bought it. She said, at this price, I want a setup done on it. I'll give you a couple of specs, give you a couple tone samples, and that'll be it. So hopefully not too long a video, because you guys have better things to do than to sit there listening to me all day. I guarantee it. So this is the PRS Vela. It's not a special edition or anything. They have multiple color options available. You can get them in semi-hollow body, which this one is, or solid body, whatever your preference. But as far as I know, all the hardware is the same. So typical PRS, they have mahogany body. This one has a mahogany neck. They have the PRS style tuners. They are locking, but the locking mechanism is at the top of the tuner. So you put your string in, and then you can use either your fingers or probably a screwdriver to lock that pin. Looks like it's a brass shaft. Not sure what the gear ratio is. It doesn't say. Everything I found online is pretty vague. Nickel finish hardware. We have 22 frets. They are not stainless steel. We have just the dot inlays and not the birds. Some of these models come with the bird inlays, but they are even more money. This model is right around the $2,000 mark. Here in Canada, for you guys in the US, it's probably around $1,300 to $1,500. It has a single coil in the neck, believe it or not. That is not a humbucker. And it has kind of a humbucker in the bridge, and it has a split coil for the bridge humbucker. It has a top load style bridge, but it's different than what you would normally see on, like a Telecaster style or other hardtails. So, the ball end just goes through the hole and just locks into place. Kind of like an acoustic guitar, but without the pin. And then they have these barrel tuners like a Tele. However, they got 3 strings per barrel, but 2 screws per barrel. And you can see how the barrel tilts when you adjust these screws, right? And that's to set the compensation for your intonation. Interesting. It's a 5-screw surface mount bridge. So it makes for a super clean guitar. And with the hollow body, it makes for a super light guitar. I weighed this guitar before hitting record. And this guitar is coming in on my luggage scale at 5.6 pounds. Like, it's super light. This is a 25-inch scale, so typical kind of PRS stuff. The neck is, on their spec sheet, it says normal. Normal curve. I don't know what that means, but I'll tell you, it's not a slim C. It's meatier than a slim C. Feels a little bit wider. Fret access is super easy. Like, there's no issues hitting all 22 frets. It has rolled edges all along the fretboard. The nut looks like some kind of Graphtec nut. It's really well cut. The strings are a little deep in the nut, like they're completely buried in there, but you can tell that the nut's cut wide enough that they're not hooking or catching on anything. And it's been well polished or finished because there's no nibs or any rough spots on it whatsoever. So all in all, really simple guitar. I don't know if I mentioned it, but rosewood fretboard. So yeah. And as far as electronics go, I can't show you them. But I'm assuming, full-size pots, a real Gibson-style toggle switch. And, these pickups are PRS design. So anybody out there who plays PRS, you got to know the quality of these. To access all this, I got to take this off. To take that off, I really got to take the strings off. And I don't want to mess with the guitar because my friend likes her setup as it is. I'm not really going to touch it. It was just to share this guitar with you. Let's check the train on this thing to see how well it was dialed in from the music store. And then we'll plug it in, get a few tones, and call it a day. The T of train means tune, so I'm just going to use my GP5. We're going to check out the tuning. And when you do that, you're not just tuning your guitar, you're checking your tuners. You get to feel if they're loose or if there's any play in them. It's giving you information that you can mentally collect so that you know what you have to do during your setup. Do I have to tighten these tuners? Do I have to lubricate them? Do I have to change them? And I gotta say, they feel good. The other thing about tuning is you're plucking each string open, right? So you get to hear if all strings are ringing out equally or if some strings have kind of a weird vibration happening, like a sitar kind of sound. And so far, my D string is vibrating somewhere. So if you have a buzzing issue when you're checking your tuning, when you're doing the train pattern, well, right off the bat, you know you probably have a nut slot that's cut too short, or your relief is bowed back and then you're getting some string buzz, or the action is too low, right? So it's starting to paint a picture of what needs to get done. So far, I haven't really noticed anything other than a slight vibration. I don't know if you can hear that. Huh, you know what it was? It was just a neck pickup, wasn't seated. So the next one is relief. We'll check the relief. Some people use feeler gauges. Some people use like an actual push down gauge. You know, it has like two little feet that go from one end to the next to the other, and then you push in the center, and then the gauge will give you a reading. I don't use any of that. You go where the body meets the neck. That takes the bridge out of the equation, and then you put a capo at the first fret. That takes the nut out of the equation. So now your string is a perfect straight edge. You compare the straightness of that straight edge, which is your string, to the straightness of the neck, and you just look in the middle, so roughly around the 6th or 7th fret, and see how much movement you have. It's not terrible, but I have more than I feel is necessary. So I might give that truss rod a little tweak. Let's check the action first. So at the first string we have so 0.060 at the 12th fret, and which for you guys would be roughly about for you guys running millimeters, it'd be 1.75-ish, right? It's good. I would run mine about 1.5 or 0.05. So mine would be just a little bit lower. And then at the E string, the small E string, we have 1 or 0.04. So 1 and 0.04. So the E string is good. The small E is good. I just feel that the high E is a little bit high. So I'll tweak that for her. And assuming we don't get any fret buzzes or whatever. But it should be good. And all the other strings, they're all within spec. I just find the E and A string are still a little high compared to the rest. So, well, you know what? I'm going to leave the truss rod where it is because she likes the action where it's at, and the action is nice and low at the 12th fret, especially on the treble string. So I'll just lower the A and E strings just a smidge. I'll do that right now. So PRS doesn't make it easy for you to find a wrench. So if you buy one of these, you make sure that the tools come with it, because I went through all of my Allen wrenches before I found one small enough that would fit in these adjustment screws. Holy smokes. Crazy. Just gonna lower that a little bit. There, we're good now. And intonation. For that, I'm going to get the old tuner out. That's right, the Boss TU12H. These things are awesome. You have the set of lights and you have the needle to guide you. E string. Let's tune that. Yep, pretty good. All right, now let's check the B. Oh, B sharp. Oh, wait, now maybe. Oh, B's pretty good. Yep, all right. Good job, music store. I'm just stretching these strings in case you guys are wondering. All right. Well, that's a little sharp. Yep, that one has to come back. Here's the problem. The small E and the B string were perfect, but now the G string is sharp. So the G string saddle has to come back. Well, for that saddle to come back, I have to tighten this screw. By tightening this screw, it's going to pull this saddle back a bit, which in turn is going to pull the B string back. So I'm not convinced that you can get perfect intonation on this PRS design saddle. I'm going to pull this back a bit just to tilt it. I don't know if you guys can notice that in the video, but when you do that, the saddle doesn't just tilt this way, it also comes this way. It's moving in and it's tilting. So that's how you get your intonation. But now I'm afraid that my B string is going to be off. So you probably have to just settle for somewhere in the middle. So E string, fret, still good on the E. Okay, B, C, the B string got sharper because I had to pull that screw back. And the G string probably got sharper as well. Every time you move the saddle back, you're sharpening the pitch of your string. See, now my B's sharp. A little bit. But my G string is better. So that's, you know what, that's not bad. You have to split the difference, and the difference is pretty darn good. All right, so let's keep it going with the D. D's all right. Oh, that one, yeah. That one's a little sharp. There's the E. That's a little flat. So there you go. You can put your twist on whatever design you want. You can put the 2 screws on 3 strings per saddle and make it really cool. But at the end of the day, if your saddle isn't compensated, you're not getting perfect intonation with a system like this. I don't care that PRS designed it or Fender designed it. Mechanically, it's just not how it works. You can buy the Tele 2 strings per saddle saddles that are compensated, and depending on the brand that you buy, some of them are bang on to the point where your tuner wouldn't even pick up any discrepancy in intonation. By tilting a saddle, if the first one is already accurate, like we see on this one, and then you pull the second or third one back, well then you're by default pulling that first one forward because 2 screws are going through the same saddle, right? So anyway, it's all right. It's like cool looking, I'll give it that, but it's sometimes in a practical situation, it's not always great. Let's plug this thing in. I'm just going through my Valton GP5. I just programmed 4 little patches in there. I pretend to be kind of a country player. Pretend being the keyword. So all my patches are based on a Dr. Z Maz 38 amp, and they got that grit on the clean tone, and that's what I like. I don't like crystal cleans. So if you guys are after like crystal cleans, this is probably not the channel for you to be checking out a new guitar, but this will give you an idea anyway. So this is the clean sound, basically with nothing in the patch except the amp and a compressor and maybe a little slapback delay. So you can hear the grit, right? You know, you can hear the grit. So these pickups, I'm sure, are capable of pristine clean. But doing great, no issues. Sometimes to check intonation, I'll do like an E chord, and then I'll move that E chord up. Pretty good. If something is out, you're gonna hear it. Something's gonna sound really funky. So let's compare the humbucker to split coil. Oh, I like that. Hey, you know what? I like that. So here's what I'm noticing. From the humbucker to the split coil, there's like barely any volume drop and no thinness. It doesn't sound thin. Most pickups that you split, they just don't sound right. I hate split coils. But I gotta say, I like this one. That sounds like a single coil pickup. That's cool. Wow, man, this thing sounds awesome. Middle position in full humbucker and single coil neck. Now, I know some of you are freaking out right now, like Ted, because this whole time you're thinking, you didn't check the nut on the train. You stopped at intonation. I already know 2 E strings are just a little high. A little. And by little, I mean like a little. But some people might like that, especially if you like grabbing and bending on the small E. You might like a little bit more height so you can... So relax, you nut guys out there. Everything's okay. Everything's good. You did a good job setting it up at the store. Neck position. Let's see how it does with some high gain tone. an awesome guitar, but I'll tell you what, for $2,400, taxes in, here in Prince Edward Island, it should be. I mean, really, come on, it should be. If you don't mind paying extra for the name on the headstock, and you have, you know, a couple of grand in your bank account just doing nothing, or you don't mind making payments on an instrument that you play to make a few bucks on a Saturday night, then, right, you go for it. For me, it's just not my thing. At least you get a case with these, like a PRS, you know, gig bag. It's not a firm gig bag, as you can tell. It's like, right, but it does have a lot more padding than the typical gig bags that would come with like a budget guitar or something, right? You would think for any guitar where the manufacturer is charging in excess of $2,000, you would get a nice custom fitted hardshell case. Back in the early 2000s, I bought a Japanese-made EVH Wolfgang. It was a hardtail Tom Bridge version. However, the tailpiece had fine tuners on it, and it had the big locking nut up here, which I absolutely hated. After a while playing it, I eventually got rid of it. But that guitar came with an EVH custom-fitted case. And that guitar cost me like $7.99. If this was $7.99, I would go at my local music store and buy one of these right now. So, yeah, if you go to a music store and you buy one of these, make sure you get the included setup. Make sure that you ask for what you want before you spend your hard-earned dollars. You should be happy with the guitar that you just spent money on. Doesn't matter what the name says on the headstock. So if they're not willing to help you, go somewhere else. Anyway, leave a comment if you feel so inclined to do so. You guys take care, God bless, and I will see you in the next one.